My name is Tyler Johnson. I am the lead pastor of Redemption, Arizona, which is a multi-congregational church throughout the state of Arizona of 10 congregations. The reason I was encouraging our pastors to join a prayer cohort was this fundamental principle that comes out in a praying life, that you learn to pray by praying. And I really have a heart to see this penetrate and get into the very DNA of our church.
I think what makes prayer difficult for pastors is it doesn't necessarily have a quantitative result to the work. I can prepare a message and deliver a sermon, and that's something that can be noticed, that's something that can be qualified. My service to others, so if it's a service project or a missions trip, you know I'm there, there's something tangible that's come out of it. Prayer can be one of those things where you can labor alone in solitude and in quiet and not see anything happen.
I think I'm used to thinking I have all the answers. And I also think maybe my people expect me to have all the answers. And so because of that, I can kind of become the object of people coming to me and saying, Aaron, what should I do? And almost praying to me in one way or another. And so because of that, I can just try to answer things quickly. And that has left me in a spot, I think, where as a pastor, I feel like I got to give people answers rather than praying with them.
Things I learned about my own life with prayer, and specifically the intimacy piece that I felt like I was missing with the Lord, of just a childlike dependence. I felt probably before going into that was a barrier for me, of feeling like asking things for God made me feel guilty or not worthy, or I should be praying about something else. And through the experience of the prayer cohort, I felt like I learned a ton about that intimacy and connection with God, that just like my own kids requesting things of me, especially when they're little, that I want to give them things and I want those requests to come my way, that I was deciding in my prayer life with God to not even make the request, and that how He desires that for me and how that breeds intimacy in our connection and our relationship. So that was a huge door that got unlocked in the midst of the cohort for me.
The way that God solidified my sonship during the time of the cohort through moments of prayer is one of the greatest things that ever happened to me as a follower of Jesus, let alone a pastor.
I can even just share my own story of signing up. There were only a couple names as the sheet came around, and even there I thought, oh, is this group motivating? Just really candidly even thought like, oh, are these the people I want to be praying with, or if I'm going to take this big investment. But as I was even thinking through those things, I think the Lord put heavily on my heart. I just heard Him or experienced Him just really putting heavily on my heart. No, I'm inviting you, which is even that is language I haven't always felt comfortable with, or maybe God calling me, but I really felt like it was more the Father inviting me to grow in my intimacy with Him. And that was enough.
If I was speaking to a pastor who's on the fence about joining a cohort, I think the first thing I'd say is you really have to revisit your role biblically. Just this sense of we are meant to be about the Word and prayer. And one of the things we learned through the cohort is how so often we're trained in the Word but not in prayer. And I couldn't imagine a pastor that I'm around saying, I just don't have time for the Word. But to say we don't have time for prayer is making you personally anemic. It's going to make your family more anemic, and it's going to make your church really anemic. And so this sense of an aspiration for life and vitality in your personal life, in your family, and in your ministry it's a must. And you're going to do it far better together than you ever would individually trying to will yourself to get there.